So, I have gotten many messages about how I beat the American Dead opening in 6 seconds. Many questions. What was that trick? Why did you do that? Why didn't you do this? In this video I'll answer every question you could ever ask in any possible timeline on this ever possible dimensional plane. I got asked why I didn't use the floor clip, hugged my family to gain momentum, or used the newspaper skip. Well, the answer is surprisingly surprising. People have been running the GameCube NTSC version of the American Dead opening and foolishly forgot the other version, the PAL version, specifically the German version. Now the main differences are that the German version runs at 25 Hz, which in this run only saves 6 frames. But those 6 frames are really important. They allow us to jump 1 frame train, which saves us 2 whole seconds. The other difference is that the newspaper text is overdubbed in German.
Truthahn-Auferstehung missglückt!
This allows for a very important setup. You see, the GameCube loads next 4 scenes into memory, so the newspaper scene is loaded in memory. This is very crucial because there's a trigger in the newspaper that checks your progress. But since the German would never not read this newspaper, this check is not present in the German version of this game. The pause screen is also different. The last difference is that the PAL version was compiled using a different version. They sent over an early build to the localization team so they can release the game on the same day. This run heavily relies on an unpatched exploit. Our titular protagonist has a speed limit at which he can move without the car. This movement cap is reached in the bedroom scene when Dad jumps out of the bed and equips his shoes. In this scene you are forced to jump forward, but if you pause on the right frame, you regain control. If you reverse your momentum, you start with maximum momentum, but since you are going backwards, the momentum is not negative, but unlike your forward momentum, your backwards momentum isn't limited. When you then put your momentum against the geometry of your bed and jump each frame,
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
then you are in a state of continuous backwards falling. This continues until the game loads the next part of the room, the window scene. This scene was hard to solve. Since you built up a lot of momentum, if the scene played out the way it would usually, you would hit your window, the glass would shatter, the glass would stop your momentum, and the combination of G-force and glass shards would kill you instantly. To solve this issue, we first need to talk about parallel deaths. There are multiple deaths in the Weird Chinny universe. To open the window, you need a second death. To accomplish this, you need to manipulate memory. Since there's a tool to manage multiple deaths in the debug section of this game, you need to hammer the L button perfectly before the scene is loaded. This partially relies on a dialogue that would have been on a newspaper. This will start the tool. The tool is called Dirty Dads Done Dirt Cheap. This loads in Peter from Family Guy, but with a Stan Smith mask. But only if you have a Family Guy save on your memory card. This dad will only load while pausing. If you mess this trick up, the two dads meeting will rip apart the time and space continuum, permanently deleting the existence of both franchises. It also causes Seth MacFarlane's back to make this really cartoony cracking noise. Once you are outside the window, you will fly through the town scene without a car. Finally you land in front of the CIA building. Usually the character will perform a little dance at the end of the run, but since you aren't wearing a suit, you automatically skip it. The intro ends. I feel like I have gotten pretty close to perfect time. You might be wondering why I'm using a dirty N64 controller on the GameCube version. That is the thing, this trick only works with dirty N64 controllers hooked up to GameCubes. and only German GameCubes. You also have to set the time on your GameCube, so it shows up as December 24th in the year 2005. You might be saying, wait, 6 seconds isn't the world record, right? Well, you're wrong. See, the problem with timing this run is that the backwards falling is such a fast trick that it makes it look like that is in a bedroom, but in actuality is speed morph time itself. It made a wormhole that instantly ends this run the second that the window is open. This is at least what I thought happened, but upon further analysis this run is much worse. This run affected the universe itself. The moment this run was done, the length of a minute was shifted, and the universe was shrunk. I even theorized that the first person to try this run created the Big Bang. The other thing this has done was shift timelines. We are now living in a different timeline than before I did this run. It also shifted the dead as a universal constant, so that is now omnipotent, meaning my actual time is 0.5 dead seconds, because now he's everywhere. You might be wondering, what is the indication that you are in a different timeline? Think of what the Berenstain Bears were called. Because nowadays they're called something different. Before I did this run, they weren't actually called Berenstain or Berenstain. No, they were called Berenstain. Berenstain Bears. Berenstain Bears were actually a group of Jewish bears that were trapped in Nazi-occupied Germany. Well, I feel like I've gotten pretty close to perfect time. But I feel like there's other improvements to be made. There's potentially a similar way of shortening the playtime using the NTSC-J version. Or someone finds a way to gain maximum momentum without getting out of bed. But otherwise I think this is pretty close to perfection. Anyways, have a nice day and forget you watched this video.